Welcome, everybody, to yet another day and the final day here for the 2021 EGF High School National Championships in collaboration with Walt Disney World and ESPN Wide World of Sports. This is the Rocket League semifinals and grand finals. I am Dana Taco, and joined with me is Chef Billy. Chef, we have two great games at least ahead. We don't know who's in the grand finals, but to help us find out who will join them in the semifinals here, we do have Summit High School, the Hilltoppers, and Pennsauken High School.
Yeah, but this is the Sour Limes team that features Comet and Unable Lime, a couple of all-stars from our all-star event last week. We also got Reggie for the Hilltoppers on the other side, and they had a pretty dominating performance yesterday. During the quarterfinals, we saw the Summit Hilltoppers take down Sheehan Titans 3-0. And on the other side, we saw the Sour Limes take down the number 4 seed nationally, at least as far as our tournament here. The number 4 seed, Crespi Celts. They took them down 3-1. So they had some pretty easy ways to get here. Comet looked really good yesterday. He had a strong mental during their game against the Celts. So what am I looking forward to from this one? I'm looking for Reggie to really set the standard coming out the gate for Summit Hilltoppers and Unable Lime and Comet. They are just such a potent duo that I just really cannot wait to see their chemistry on the field, see their synergy on the field. Let's just hope that there's no nerfs, because it's all to play for today. 2 matches, and you could be a national champion.
Yes, and it is very close. It's not necessarily 1 or 2 games, but of course the matches one game at a time. We have a best of 5 here in the semifinals, and then we'll be moving on to the grand finals, which of course will be that classic bracket determining best of 7 format that we all know and love. But yes, you drop these series and your season is over. These teams have fought through so much, and really somewhat unexpectedly as well, because yesterday Pennsauken had a nice showing against the Celts team and then moved on to Huntington. Some people were really lobbying them to be the bracket favorites, and then a 3-0 sweep from them. Pennsauken has a lot going forward. They have a lot of momentum, and even though that was a 3-0, all these matches are close. Really, throughout this bracket, the matches have been fairly close, somewhat of a toss-up at times, due to just how high that skill floor is. So we're definitely in for a fantastic match, and luckily for us, we don't really have to vamp. We don't really have to ramp up any more than we already are, because the players are on the field. We're ready for game number 1. We're up our final day here of the EGF High School National Championships here for Rocket League. Game number 1 of Summit High School Hilltoppers and Pennsauken High School. We're going to kick things off with a nice hit into the red half, and actually a very early chance for Trizen, but he's going to get denied. So right off the bat, we're seeing a very interesting opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, Reggie and Trizen, they are very active in our chat as well on Twitch. Always seeing those 2 characters livening up the chat, and I mean, they're livening up the field right now. Just getting forward and getting a little bit of displacement into the defensive third for Pennsauken. So Pennsauken may have come out just a tad bit flat, and they almost took it to the shed on them.
Well, sometimes when you're waking up, you need some caffeine, but sometimes a little slap to the face like that is a good thing to make sure you shake yourself and make sure you're in the game. And that's certainly what's happening right now, is Trizen and company still advancing. Those Summit will be denied temporarily for now. Comet, maybe not enough boosted. It's going to be another net as everyone is just spread to the wind, and Ruggie will get number 1 on the board.
Yeah, Reggie absolutely laying it down. And that's just a screamer into the bottom of the net there. So 58 miles an hour on that. Good angle as well. So they take a 1-0 lead here in the first series of the day.
Yeah, and it might be an open net, but you still have to thread the needle between the near post and the far post player. Very well done by them, and it shows why they're getting to this point. When you have opportunities like that, you really can't afford to miss them, especially the second time within the minute, though. A minute is done, and trying to move in a little bit into the mid-game, and Summit trying to build that lead, though. A double tap not going to go, and Sauken still kind of hemmed into their half here. But this is actually the same narrative we saw against Huntington in their quarterfinal matchup, where they were pressed back a lot of game 1, and just over time they were able to adapt. Might have to do the same thing here, as we'll see another one rattle off the bar. But a clear down by Unable Lime will give them a little breathing room.
Yep, and I mean, just the constant stream of pressure coming in from the Hilltoppers. I think this is super smart. What a shot. Talk about threading the needle just underneath the crossbar there. And Trizen just absolutely nailed it. That's a pretty good goal there.
And Trizon rocking that Nissan Skyline, able to get that nice licensed DLC in. And it shows, good representation for the brand with a fantastic shot to the far post. So certainly they are taking every opportunity they are presented with. Really now on Pensock going to be able to answer the call and make it worse before it gets better. They have a lead blocker. He's not needed. Unable Lime, though. Fantastic save. Comet's going to have to hit this one across to Dozy. We'll try and keep possession with a deeper flick. No contact on that, so we'll go back out to mid. High lob, Trizon up for it, but not a lot of power to touch it. Dark will actually back them up. Good communication there. They're reaching halftime. Summit really trying to cruise onward to a third goal, and it's certainly in the cards the way they're continuing to play right now.
Yeah, I mean, the rotations are really clean coming out from them here early in the game. What a little touch there. Knew that the goal minder was going to be kind of rotating towards them on the near post there. So just, banks it in off of them. And that's a quick 3-0 lead. Not even halftime yet, Danger. And I'm telling you what, the Hilltoppers have come to play today.
Absolutely. Game number ones are definitely a game in which you have to really take a deep breath and figure out, okay, I'm in a match. I might not have played this team. Let's see what they have to offer. Summit is giving them all they have and more with this score line. And at the same time, it's really just on Pensocken to adjust and make sure they're not making those kind of innocent mistakes like we saw in that third goal. Potentially a fourth now with a flick over the bar. Trizon is there. Will be turned away. It does really feel like Pensocken is just trying to figure out what's the ideal way of building pressure, because every ball upfield, especially at the midfield, it's like a curtain right now. They just really cannot get past. Summit's doing a very good job of not only getting offensive pressure to work, but just in general, keeping the ball down on the opponent's half.
Yeah, and I think that, maybe Pensocken needs to get a little bit more physical with the Hilltoppers. I think that could start to relieve some of the pressure in their defensive third. I also think that switching fields could be another good way when they're going for these long passes. They're trying to flick out of their defensive third. I think if you switch the field, it pulls the Hilltoppers away from their rotations, and it makes them have to reestablish their rotation line. So I think right now, if they can just change the eye level of the Hilltoppers, they might have a better time getting out of their defensive third.
He's going to try and get out of the defensive third with maybe a flick, but only will get demoed. Across the middle. No flick, actually just catches it first. So Trizon now receiving a pass, but it's going to be cut out by Commit. Nice 50 into the middle. Dozy is going to have to turn around, though. Maybe didn't have that read right off the bat. He will combine with the back post. Will fly into the middle, and at this point, I think it's really just about someone trying to run up a score. Don't have too much to worry about so long as the defense holds. 55 seconds remaining, and a couple of double commits are adding up to Summit trying to cruise their way to a game one victory. And at this point, Pensocken, I would love to see them get something just for a silver lining to this game, give a little confidence, as they might have to say GG next and move on to game two.
Yeah, and I mean, a goal will always wake you up and always give you that little bit of confidence. But I think it's really important right now for them to do something, because they have been completely shut out of any kind of real scoring opportunities, other than, an errant ball that went down and they tried to push it over the line. I mean, really the lion's share of the aggressions come out from the Hilltoppers. And 15 seconds left, they're going to go ahead and say, GG's, go to game number two.
Sometimes mentally what you have to do, and fortunately for them, they won't have to deal with a fourth goal, but Unable Lie, I'm going to have one more chance to do something stylish here in game number one. Dark, not really in a generous mood. He's going to set up Trizon. They're going to just barely get denied, but the damage has already been done. Summit Hilltoppers taking game number one emphatically.
That was a statement game if I ever saw one, Danger Taco. This was a definitive moment for them. Let's see if they can continue this hard push towards the grand finals. They've only got to win 2 more series here, and they're going to go ahead and claim their spot there, and we'll find out, what is going on with the other semifinal. I think it's on another stream right now. So what am I looking for from the Sour Limes? I mean, they may have left their best Rocket League on the field, taking down Huntington yesterday. They looked a little tentative coming out and getting scored on so quickly into this first semifinal of the day. It may have punched them in the mouth and may have shocked them a little bit. And they never seemed to get those defensive rotations going around. It was like serious lights out work coming from the Hilltoppers. So, man, Hilltoppers came into this ranked number 2 and it shows why they were ranked number 2. I mean, they made that look very easy.
Yeah, the Hilltoppers did win their regional back in May as we were ramping up to this national championship. So they do have that really trophy obtaining pedigree that we would like to see out of a national champion. Though Pennsauken, they also had a very rough game for game 1 and really just eked out a win off of kind of a clunker goal from Huntington. But from there, able to settle into the series. Game 1 nerves hopefully put aside. We have a fresh slate here for game number 2, and we'll have to see if that does make a difference. Pennsauken looking to make a difference, and who I'm looking for is Unable Lime. They were the one who got an air dribble against Huntington for the go-ahead victory, and they were able to cruise from there. And speaking of physical play and at least changes, first demo coming out from a commit. So a fantastic job there to start things off, though. Work to their success, and they're almost going to get caught on the back post. Good deflection off the crossbar and the long clear, going to give them a little bit of breathing room, but even with these slight improvements or changes to the game plan, they still have to mind that goal front.
Yeah, I mean, that was 2 really good chances there. And I mean, perfect rotations, though. Let's give a little bit of credit where it's due. Pennsauken, they absorbed 2 very good goal-scoring chances that actually turned it into an offensive opportunity for themselves. So, I mean, the work is being done now.
And it's all about executing on offense now, as Dozy will try to take this one out. We'll get a dunk instead. Rudgy, nice flick over. That's going to be a Fields back flip, and he gets a touch, but it's not going to be enough. And sometimes flicks like that, they're not too potent on the speed, but the placement is unexpected, and great job to put that just out of reach.
I mean, that takes a lot of finesse there, and boy, did Reggie do a great job there. Just seeing a little lob right over the defender's head, and sometimes it's not about the speed, it's about the placement, and that was absolutely picture perfect.
And we're not going to restart here for game number 2. It's really just going to be unpausing the Summit offensive plays, already sitting at 5 shots here within 90 seconds to the 1 of Pennsauken. So this is going to be a multi-game effort to overcome their offense. Maybe we'll see at least something here for Unable Lime and the crew. Unfortunately, that flick is not on the same page. So Unable have to take it out of their corner. Makes a 50, tries in, it's going to bounce to the backboard. Dozy actually almost gets caught out there off the crossbar, off the post. Now Rudgy, what a save by Commit, and Unable Lime, unable to make sure that someone's going to get that goal. What a save. They're still in at 1-0, but the attack keeps on chugging. Rudgy gets a second one despite the heroics on the goal line from Pennsauken.
I mean, my jaw as a former goalkeeper, IRL, that was one of the most bloody saves I've ever seen in my life. How did they keep that out? But the consistent pressure coming in from Rudgy and company. The penultimate result of that is a 2-0 score line, and Sour Limes have really got to kick this into gear.
And we'll have to see if they'll be able to mount something. You're only at halftime. It's really just about making sure you minimize those mistakes, but sometimes it's not much more of a mistake than just taking advantage of a slight gap in rotation. Rudgy doing just that, tucking that into the near post, and Pennsauken, their backs are really coming up against it now.
I'm telling you what, Danger Taka, that was a 78-mile-an-hour screamer near post. That's not a really fun angle to try and shoot in on goal, so Rudgy getting a lot of value out of a difficult position. And here it is again. We're just throwing it off the backboard and just watching the offensive rotations coming in from Rudgy and company. I mean, this is been their standard throughout these national championships. They have been playing this backboard kind of carom pass almost exclusively during their run here, and they just catch teams napping.
And is Sun Tzu in the Art of War says you should not interrupt your opponent when they're in the middle of making a mistake. And right now, Pennsauken is not protecting that backboard. Why go to something else when it ain't broke? Maybe they're going for something slightly different, but Rudgy actually gets ahead of themselves, brings it too far to the side. They had a lead blocker. Won't result in a fourth. Pennsauken can certainly use a sigh of relief for that, though. We'll have to find a way to get a first here, under 2 minutes to go, and Summit trying to cruise, and now they're just going for variety. Rudgy with the air dribble, and they're not gonna get a dirt on that, though. Will be a temporary clear out just for Dark to tap forward in, and This is really impressive out of the Hilltoppers. But to be honest, we are saying at one point that Pennsauken is struggling on offense, but this is the Hilltoppers that did win their regionals, that has gone very far in nationals, and this is why it's just so difficult to transition out against a team like this.
Yeah, I mean, they're just able to do so much with the ball in the neutral. And I love just how they're just putting everything into this. You know, they're not taking their foot off the throats of Sour Limes. They're setting a statement real loud and clear here. Less than 90 seconds, Taco, and they're going to be up 2-0 in this semifinal.
Ryzen and Rudgy, a little bit of double commit. That's an opening for Dozy, though. Angle, not the easiest. Going to go for possession. 50 in the middle, not going to be there. Going to get sent to the Shadow Realm for that one. Commit. Off the corner. Still a tough angle, no contact again. There's opportunities. You can't really blame them for missing, but they're going to have to produce something better than that. 1 minute remaining. I would love for Pennsauken just to get really anything on the board, just to give them some momentum going into game number 3, because just like game number 1, you just really have to look to the next chance. The comeback probably off the cards, but at least you can get something on the board. There it is, Unable Lime on the deflection counter. There's at least one back.
Right. I mean, there we go. Finally, something goes good for Sour Limes. This might be the goal that gets their mental reset just a little bit. I know that there's 43 seconds left, but you can actually get a couple more goals here and really set yourself up for series number 3. We'll see what they can do here. But, I mean, just getting one on the board, that's got to be just a proof positive that they can do this.
And it's at least going to be something that they're going to have to hold on to. They'll use it as a lodestar to guide the rest of their performance. I'd like to see a little bit cleaner rotations, because sometimes there's just these simple misses and they're immediately getting punished by Summit. That's number 5, and it's just off of the midfield little oopsie-daisy.
Yep. I mean, it's still great car control there from Reggie to be able to get over the opponent, rotate the car enough, and, you know, get the shot on goal. So back to a 4-goal lead. And right now, you know, Sour Limes, they just got to put this one behind them once again. And GG come back to the next game. They know they can get the back of the net now. So maybe we will have a different kind of result coming out for them.
I'd like to see a bit more backboard defense, and I'd like to see a lot more calm when they're going up on offense. And granted, advising calm when you're in a national championship semifinal, of course, it seems a little reductive, but hopefully Pennsauken will be able to find that. Summit taking game number 2. They're on to match point. One more game, and Pensauken's run will end right here.
Yep, I would hate to see that, because they have such a darn good team, Taco. I mean, Comet and Unable Lime, they have been such a wonderful breath of fresh air here. I mean, they had a great season 8. They had, you know, all-star game. I think they even played with Reggie on one of those teams. One of them did. And, you know, I just have fallen in love with this team from Pennsauken. But, you know, Summit, I mean, they are a pedigree that is being shown up right now. And, you know, we have the character in Reggie always in chat, livening up the chat and, you know, giving their takes on what's going on in the matches that are on the screen when they're not necessarily playing. So, I mean, these students, they have been busting it. And right now, Hilltoppers look unbeatable. We'll talk about the Scarab incident if it does happen to come down to North Mesquite versus this Hilltoppers team, because it's rolling on the other side. I just looked in on the other match, and they just got into game number 1. They had a couple of waiting issues for students to get in, but that's North Mesquite versus the other Summit High School team. Hilltop Gaming is what they go by. So we will be giving you updates on that on this stream as well. But, you know, it's 2-0. It's match point for the Hilltoppers. Kind of shocked with how easy it's been going.
Yeah, and unfortunately for this, they're going to get a little bit of a delay here, as we're going to see some players have to transition in and out of game here, as we're just making sure their connections are topped off, because if you are going into potentially match point, that is exactly what you need to make sure of. And right now, at least from Pennsauken, I think they could use this breather. We don't really have a tactical timeout that they can really implement. However, this is something that at least you can catch your breath, take a deep breath, and understand that you are very much so in a situation in which one team is really dominating your backboard. They are getting on the ball very well. And at the end of the day, they are taking chances, but a lot of those goals are kind of just open nets. They're just kind of being thrown on target and not dealt with. You can try to improve your defense by trying to lock down those saves, but I would like to see them just play a little bit calmer. Not every ball has to be cleared all the way out. They can hit it up the line. They can go for the air dribbles. Unable Lime was showing a lot of talent and a lot of confidence whenever they went to the air for those plays. The one thing I would like to see them do is try to go back to that style, because right now it seems like Summit is content with just shooting a couple balls on target, crashing the net, then rotating out, waiting for the ball to get hit to them, and then they just come right back down. Pennsauken is giving them what they want, and right now there's no need to change that game plan. It's 2-0, and games, they're not really that close because of it.
I mean, physicality. That's another thing that they should be doing right now. Sometimes the best way to deter an offensive push is to blow their car up, or at least get a healthy bump on them. And I think that we didn't see enough of that. I mean, Hilltoppers weren't demoing anybody. They just seemed to be that one step ahead. So I think right now, if you're the Sour Limes, get a little bit more aggressive. And we're going to see a little bit of a replay here. Looking at this early goal, I mean, 5 seconds in, that's a shot right out the gate. I mean, and under a minute less from starting, they're already up 2-0. So, I mean, this is game number 1, and it just saw just a ton of offensive output coming from the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, it can get a little bit difficult, mainly because when you're in a situation like this, there's multiple things at play. There's one team that you're playing against, Summit, which is just so oppressive on the offensive half, and they're just going to keep throwing it forward. And really, that's going to be their best defense, is just locking down that midfield, making sure that you're constantly backpedaling, fighting for that boost in your own corners. And on top of that, now it's at the mental aspect of knowing not only that you're losing, there's somewhat of a saving grace in losing, but it's by an overtime goal, or it's just by 1 goal margin, or you had a comeback attempt and it gets squashed temporarily. It's another thing when it really, everything you're throwing isn't sticking, and you have to keep improvising and keep trying to find a way to get back into a series. It can get very frustrating. So I think Pennsauken needs to realize that, and maybe not change their entire game plan. There is a time and a place for being able to stick to what you know best. At this point, I just think there needs to be at least some form of accommodation for a little bit of flexibility. I definitely believe physical plays were working wonders, but I would love to see them get back to passing plays. When we talked to Unable Lime yesterday after their Huntington series, they were applauding their ability to pass, look out of midfield, and I think we saw that in game 1, and then the moment they got pressed on defense, that all went away, and they went to this more direct, right up the field style. And I would love to see them return to their roots and be able to also implement a new style to combat Summit, because right now they really need everything to be able to stay in this series on match point.
I mean, I watched all the games yesterday because I love this league and I love the championships. And I tell you what, their passing was absolutely exquisite yesterday. And I'm not sure if they just haven't, if the mental's not up there, if they haven't had enough espresso or cherry Coke or whatever it is, caffeinated, that they need to get into their stream. But I think they need to get some sugar in them in a hurry and get the blood boiling, because they're about to take an exit from this national championship. And it's going to leave a sad taste in their mouth because they haven't played the game that we have seen them play all week, all season. So, it's all going to come down to this. Either they're going to, bring us to within a game, or they're going to be sent packing.
And we'll see as the players are attempting to join the lobby. We're seeing a bit of a delay, so might have to see if we do have the players available for this, as we will be seeing players enter the field, and we will be getting underway. So one thing that I am definitely looking forward to is to see if Pennsauken does actually have those next touches in them. And we'll see with a little bit of a move in with Simply Eraser. I'm not sure if the passing plays are going to be as accessible. Most of the time when passing plays are not coming out, it's because they're too focused on being frantic. They're being afraid that they're going to get caught up to get 50. They're going to get dunked. And so therefore the focus is just getting it around the player, not necessarily getting it to a teammate. And I think that has to go down to nerves, but there's no place for nerves anymore. We're on match point. Summit High School looking to close this series out. And we'll have to see if Game 3 throws us any shenanigans, as Commit had an open net, though unfortunately not able to wrangle around that one.
I mean, Simply Eraser, this is a freshman that played. Yeah, they are. I could swear that they played for their sister team but I'm not exactly sure on that. I'd have to go back and look at my research. However, this is definitely a game changer for them, Simply Eraser coming in, because they are a freshman, and we heard them say, it was Dondo that told us that they look to this freshman to lead the team. I mean, these are seniors and juniors that are looking up to a freshman because they said that it's just a complete difference from this player. So I'm digging it. I'm loving it. Let's see if they can get something out of this.
So we'll see if Simply Eraser can make their mark. So we'll have to wait a little bit longer. Unable Lime taking it across the goal. Roll her out into the middle. Mitt gets dunked right down. Unable going to tap that one again to the side. Dark with possession touch. Into the far corner. Ball really just taking laps across the field here on the Pensacola half. Simply Eraser trying to get that one. Unfortunately, going to cut too hard around it, and it's going to be the opening goal yet again going to the Summit Hilltoppers.
Yep. I mean, but this is still better play. I mean, it took them almost 2 minutes, right, to get on the board. So this is better play coming out of the Sour Limes. So, I mean, I really want to see, you know, can they get a decent amount of pressure put to bear on the Hilltopper goal? That remains to be seen. I really want to see Comet and Unable Lime link up thoroughly with their other players.
We'll see if someone's going to be pressed back here. They're certainly struggling a little bit to get this ball out as Ryzen will get dunked down. Commit taps it up. Unable Lime. That's a Fields flip, but they actually get it over. It's off the bar. It's just a sitter on the goal line. All three players crash. None score, and Summit's going to get away with one.
Oh my word, that would have done them the world of good to have a 1-1 tie, but now it has gone the other way. Dark and Trizen linking up for yet another goal, and it's 2-0. Oh man, that is very, very, very unfortunate that that went in. Oh my goodness.
Hey, Chef, that is possibly the most complete really summation of a gut punch in esports that I've seen in a while. Just a sitter on the goal line. You get so close, you send the house, and that can't even get it through. And then the very first counter, then I get a goal. But of course, I'm just ramping to nothing because Simply Eraser will dunk home one.
Oh my word! Yeah, I mean, Simply Eraser. We talked about him. This was an all-star from the previous weekend. And I tell you what, this is a good change coming out for Pensacola, and I tell you what, man, that's a shot on goal from the kickoff.
And those can be so scary. And that would also be a gut punch if you get one back and then give it off kickoff, though they will survive that. They're within 2 minutes to go. But it's not about holding on defense now. It's about pressing forward onto offense yet again. You see Unable Lime get dunked, but Simply Eraser is there. It's upfield. A little bit of a giveaway. Simply Eraser into the corner. It will get a boost steal. They're going to roll into midfield, but all of Pensacola back just trying to get some boost. Unable Lime will be left on the backboard. Tries in, trying to get one in, and they will tuck it underneath. Defense just splayed out a little bit too wide, and a 2-goal lead restored.
Oh, man, and going to the ceiling for this. So this is just absolutely fantastic. This is great stuff coming out from the Hilltoppers. And we shall see if there's an answer back coming out of Sour Limes. Let's see if Simply Eraser can build out of the top. That's a shot off the kickoff. That is fantastic stuff.
And Summit is just doing exactly what you'd expect out of a team vying for the grand finals. They are getting all over this ball. More importantly, not getting punished too hard on defense. They got a little bit of flexion to give up number 1 goal here from Pensacola, but for the most part, they've been solid top to bottom. And it seems like Pensacola does not really have the answer. And if they do have one, only have about 60 seconds to be able to get it. But players like Rudgy making sure that doesn't happen, almost getting a 4th in style off the ceiling, using that ceiling reset. We're going to see Pensacola try to answer back with a longer clear and a boost steal. Unable Lime into the corner. Does not have the follow. Rudgy does not get dunked here. Good flick. Simply Eraser can only hold that one up. Trizen will just roll that into Dark. Just such confident control coming out from the Summit side. Man, tell you what, Comet though, here we go. Nice air dribble, maybe able to set up somebody. No, that's great bit of positioning coming out of Rudgy. Not necessarily the wicked save that I thought. But yeah, I want to see what they do now. See a bit of deflection here. Reggi's going to have to angle around that one, and they will. Fortunately, with 15 seconds remaining, they need a goal, and they need it right now to have any chances. Unfortunately, Nerves getting the better of them. Longer clears, and that's just not going to do it. 5 seconds remaining, and that really is all Summit needs to milk that clock and win this game. That's going to be a Game 3 victory for Summit. That is going to be a clean 3-0 sweep, and what a better way to roll out that red carpet for their entrance into the grand finals.
Oh man, that's going to give them a ton of confidence going into the grand final. Who are they going to face, though? That is yet to be determined. I'm trying to look and see if I can find any kind of results going on for the other stream. Not seeing it right now, so we'll be able to update you with that in just a little while. However, we do see the Hilltoppers take the 3-0 win. It was pretty one-way traffic as well. Sour Limes just looked like they were flat all day long. That early goal in series number 1 just, I think, deflated them, and they were never able to recover from that. So, yeah, it's just it's GG's. We'll see you next season, Sour Limes and Pennsauken. I mean, they have really had a good run through these championships. They made it to the semifinals. I mean, that's a darn good run if you ask me.
Yeah, certainly so, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. These are all very good teams, and of course you can frame this as Pennsauken not being up the task, but granted, how many high school squads would be up for the task against Summit Hilltoppers? They won the regionals, they got very far in nationals last season here for EGF, so this is a team that's supposed to be at this stage and supposed to be going so far. Pennsauken, I know Unable Lime had spoken about, this is a chance to get their school on the map, and clearly there's some growing pains with that. Sometimes you get fairly far, and then you can't quite pull it out, but they can take a lot of solace in the fact that they did get past several teams, some even favored above them, and the run stopping the semifinals is still something to hang your hat on. Good to see from them. Pennsauken is definitely a name of a school district we're really going to have to look out for, as they made quite the run here within the 2021 EGF High School National Championships for Rocket League. So their run will end. Congrats to the Hilltoppers. We're going to be trying to throw you all lovely people to a break and get a player from the Hilltoppers to pick their brain and see how they're feeling about that future grand final. But do not go anywhere. We'll have more 2021 EGF High School National Championships after this break. Welcome back, everyone, to the 2021 EGF High School National Championship. We had just witnessed the Summit Hilltoppers taking that semifinal 3-0 against Pennsauken. We're sitting down with one of the players on that field for that Summit side. We have Dark. Dark, how you feeling advancing on to our National Championship Grand Finals?
Feeling pretty good. I think we started off a little slow, but we're feeling pretty confident going into the finals there.
Well, I tell you what, we finally learned how to say Reggie's name the right way, and had a fun time with you guys in chat yesterday while we were watching the quarterfinals and the playing games, and getting to this point here. I tell you what, you guys came out the gate pretty darn fast, if I do say so myself. You guys scored twice within the first minute. You felt a little slow coming out the gate.
I guess the net was a little bit more open than we expected it to be, but yeah, I mean, it took us a little bit to warm up. It may not have looked that way, but yeah.
Well, it certainly speaks to your preparation for this game, and more importantly, your expectations for yourself, because of course you are usually we are our own harshest critics. So looking at that series, do you view that as really a testament to your skill and cohesion as a team leading up to the grand finals? Or do you feel like this is your warm up and you still have really your best to show coming forward?
Oh, I definitely think we still have our best to show. I mean, judging by the way our other team is doing at the moment, it looks like I'm not going to count them out, but we got a tough game on our hands coming up, so we have a lot left in the tank that we're going to be willing to use.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the question then, because I mean, I'm expecting the Stallions to come through. We've dubbed it the Scarab incident, right? That's where you guys got the advantage of not having to play in the play-in game, which the Stallions did. Bit of a rivalry has kind of erupted between yourselves and North Mesquite. So I want your predictions and what you're expecting out of this grand finals game, because the Stallions have officially advanced. So you will be facing them in the grand finals.
All right. Well, I think if we come out strong, it should be about like a 4-1, maybe 4-1 scoreline like we did in the regional. But if we play more on the back foot and a little bit more slower, then I think it'll take us a little bit to switch into that like aggressive mindset. So I think it'll be a little closer if we're playing a little bit more defensive. So yeah, we're gonna make sure to stay aggressive.
Yeah, and actually, that's one thing I really wanted to touch on right before we really focus on the game ed there, is that you do have the Stallions play against, and I would say probably a fantastic adjective for both of you is aggressive. Is that a play style you guys really try to keep up, or is that just a byproduct of you all being fast and confident and in good coordination with one another? Is that really the game plan going in, just to constantly be on the ball, to really aggress? Because at times it feels like you're just suffocating the other team.
Yeah, I mean, when we first played them, it definitely wasn't. It was more of a feeler match, so we noticed that this kind of play style worked against them. So we're kind of running with it a little bit. Yeah, it's working. Hasn't been countered yet. So we'll see what Stallions has to bring.
Well, I got to say, I mean, the tennis match that we did for your round robin, you guys ended up reverse sweeping in 2-1 fashion. That's where we had the aforementioned Scarab incident. So, I mean, going into this best of 7, you're going to have to come out with 4 wins. And you said a 4-1 victory for you. So you're going to give them You're going to give them a game, huh?
Yeah. I mean, they're a good enough team. So I'm not going to say it won't be close, but yeah, I think we can win it pretty convincingly. Yeah.
Well, I love to see confidence like that, and I wish you the best of luck in that match. So before we let you go, we got a lot of people out there. Is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you get back to your team?
Obviously the parents. I mean, he heard him last time I was on here going, "Let's go!" But anyway, yeah, parents of the players, and also there's some people in chat, so shout out to them for coming out. Yeah, that's it.
Lovely to hear. You give them back to the parents and also the fans of the lifeblood of really any sport or esport. Dark, thank you so much, and best of luck in the grand finals.
Thank you.
Well, you heard it on broadcast here as we transition into the outro, trying to throw you guys to a brief intermission as we set up that grand finals. That will be the Summit High School Hilltoppers versus the North Mesquite Stallions in our grand final, Chef. This is gearing up to be quite the matchup. I can't wait to get into it. Unfortunately, we'll only have to wait a little bit. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break with more of the 2021 EGF High School National Championship. Welcome back one more time, everybody, to the 2021 EGF High School National Championships in collaboration with Walt Disney World and ESPN Wide World of Sports. We've had weeks of really league play format, group play. We've gone into group play for the national championships. This whole week has been packed to the brim with action, but it really all comes down to this next best of 7 series. 2 teams remain. It is the Summit High School Hilltoppers and the North Mesquite Stallions. And really, when you look at their performances throughout the semifinals, Chef, it almost feels like this was inevitable. This had to be the matchup that we end everything on.
They came out of the same group. Okay, we had the Scarab incident. Going to bring that up quite a few times today because it seemed to be a singular moment in time for the Hilltoppers that turned their fortunes around here in our national championships and lit a fire underneath of them. They have had a pretty solid run through here to the grand finals. I tell you what, they had a pretty dominating performance in their semifinals. Not to be outdone, though, North Mesquite also had a pretty easy time getting through their grand final on the other stream. So now, this is a grudge match. There is no love lost between these two teams. Let me just be very frank about that right now. We've heard the interviews. We've heard them talk about each other. And once again, there's mutual respect from the two teams, but they both want to take this national championship. And I think, based on paper right now, based upon what I've seen between the two teams, this is probably going to go to that 7th game. I'm going to go ahead and throw my prediction out there right now. I think it's going to be the Hilltoppers taking it 4-3.
No, that's something you're giving them a lot of credit, especially for that momentum and really for the context within people who might be tuning in who are not aware of this Scarab incident. North Mesquite is fairly infamous. I was going to say well known, but it does have somewhat of a strange connotation because they are a team that does get confident, and when they tend to get up in a series, when they move on to match point, they tend to all, or at least one of them, wear the Scarab, which colloquially is the meme car. It's somewhat the worst car in the game in terms of visual appearance. It's also just a very clunky car to operate with. It's somewhat of a way to flex on your opponent. It's a way to disrespect. It's to get in the mind of your opponents. It backfired against Summit that last time. I'm very curious that if we do get in a situation there, if they will have the confidence. I'm not going to count it out. I think these guys are a team that flow off confidence. I think both of these teams love to play aggressive. And honestly, I'm not going to go against your prediction of Game 7. These are 2 of the fastest, most aggressive, most skillful teams we have in this entire really high school organization on top of just this final bracket. So I think it's a doozy of a grand final we have ahead of us, and I'm very curious to see if we will have some aggression coming in, some physical play trying to get out some of that frustration, because certainly when we say that this is all about sportsmanship, it really is. The players are incredibly mature in all their interviews, though there's definitely no love lost between teams. These are still competitors, and sometimes it does get a little salty.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be Sillyville versus Reggie as the 2 stars. But I think the third man role, and I talk about this a lot, the back player that necessarily, is the first back in defense, tries to set up the offensive players. Dark versus Liachu. I think that's going to be the other matchup that we need to be really keying in on. Who is more willing to get themselves inserted into the attack when it's appropriate? When are you going to be able to try and get those triple commits, or at least, get those really oppressive balls into their offensive third? Dark does a just fantastic job of it. We coined Liachu the silent assassin during that Scarab incident series because you would see Liachu just come in off camera and in, goal, done, bye, see you later. So, this player has a lot of confidence, but they can back it up too. So we'll see. Dark versus Liachu, Sillyful versus Reggie. This is how we're going to determine our national championship here. I cannot wait to get inside this game.
And unfortunately, we have all the players in the field, and they're rearing to go. They join immediately, and so we'll transition onto the field. We will get game number 1 of the grand final, best of 7 for the national championship here. And we have 2 fantastic teams to lead us through this journey. Silly, Full, and Rudgy, the players we had mentioned, fittingly taking that opening kickoff, and Messick gonna right off the bat go off of the backboard. And so right off the bat, certainly they are playing that aggressive play style.
Oh man, and right out the gate, once again, coming from the other side, Hilltoppers, they get that nice backboard play going in. So right now, shot on goal, Messick is coming out as a player possessed. That is 2 shots on goal, 2 quality chances as well. We didn't have a chance to mention Trizen Messick, but that is going to be the 3rd matchup of the day between these 2 second men.
And it's really a full team game, but sometimes you really have to watch out for a player is so generative on offense and certainly getting the job done on defense as well. As we enter a little bit of a lull from that very frantic opening. See Trizen trying to advance downfield. Rudgy off the corner, a little bit of a tough read. Silly Full gets it into the ceiling, but Trizen is there. 1-0 to Summit.
That was a beautifully constructed goal. Look at this high carom pass off the backboard. Unfortunate touch from Silly Full. And there is the shot, unerring, even with the demo coming through. They still take a 1-0 lead here in our first game.
And that does seem like a mistake from Silly Full. However, the touch that the Summit High School players have onto the corner, such a difficult read. It's so hard to understand where that ball is going. However, it's not hard to decipher where that's going. The back of the net, Trizen sets up their own opportunity, takes the bump, and powers through for number 2.
That was beautiful. That was just fantastic out of Trizen. Trizen decided that he woke up with some violence and is taking it out on the Stallions.
And certainly that's why you drink your milk and get as much protein as you can so you can power through plays like that. Unfortunately, they're going to have to watch the defensive back half. That's an open roller, and Lichu is going to get number 1 for North Mesquite.
Yeah, that's a triple commit. They just were not expecting the touch the way it came out, and Lichu getting themselves on the board, bringing it within 1, looking for the equalizer here in our next kickoff.
I think this is actually something that we see from both teams is when they get into a flow state, when they really feel how they're playing and confidence is at a high, which it seems to always be for both these teams and really any elite team. They tend to get a little overcommittal. They go upfield a little too aggressively. They don't get back in time, and that can harm them. It's going to be kind of gimme goals when you sit there and really, like in any competitive game, but especially in a national championship grand final, you can't have any goals that are just going to be handed over to the other team. You have to make sure everything is earned. Maybe like this one, Lichu sets up his own double tap and he buries it for the equalizer.
Oh, what a fantastic play there from Lichu. Just the nice touch, the nice air control, and then the smash, the dunk right into the back of the net. We are all equal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our grand final, and it is off with a bang.
A little bit of a rough touch there from Summit, and they're not able to wrangle that defense, though still in it, only a tie game. We'll see another couple touches off the ceiling. Trizen can't follow their own touch. Messick will clear. Lichu on the follow, but Rudgy is back. It's a roller across the middle. Silly Full sets up a redirect. Trizen doesn't hit it. Silly does. Lichu no touch. Messick last back will just lob it up. They might have the boost for an air dribble, but they do not have the placement. It will go out into the corner for Trizen to tap. The pass in the middle for Silly Full will set up at least one more chance to the near post, but Trizen takes no chances on this one. It's that one out, and Lichu again into the corner, but a little bit of a neutered attack here as we'll go back out to midfield as we approach halftime. Still 2-2. Really any team in the run-in to take the lead again.
Yeah, I mean, the rotation's starting to come through here for the Stallions here in their offensive third. They're starting to rotate this ball through in the corners very nicely. What a save once again by Trizen. Just right place, right time. Another save coming out of Dark. And I really want to see them get this pressure out of their defensive third and start making some moves towards the Stallion goal.
That play from Dark seems very simplistic, but it really isn't. It's very well planned. That touch upfield, instead of just throwing it downfield, they touch it softly, they get a 50, they're able to keep it controlled. It's not a giveaway. That patience from Summit has to be feeling like they're going to get paid off for that, but the passes from North Mesquite, they're going to feel robbed on that one. Silly Full, not for mechanical error, that could have been 3. Gonna keep going back to the run of play as Messick will set up another opportunity off of the corner. Dark there for it. It's sitting there for Lichu, but they're gonna get cut out by Trizen. The fast break might be on, but Messick, seemingly as always, that sturdy third man for North Mesquite.
Yeah, I mean, this is just beautiful play coming out from both squads here. 90 seconds left here in our first game. That's a shot on goal. What a save from Trizent. That had eyes from the back of the goal.
And same with this one. Rudgy looking for a 50, but it's going to get deflected. A roller will go all the way back down. 75 seconds remaining, and we're not necessarily in that silver goal territory, but the way this game has been emerging from the mid game and now into the end game here of game number 1, I think the next goal might be able to take it, but to be honest, I also wouldn't be surprised if we do see overtime, some additional seconds required to separate these two. It's really in back and forth, but I have to say North Mesquite, a little bit of momentum down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to get a little bit more physical. The bumps coming through from Stallions right now are actually disrupting any kind of a favorable rotation coming from the Hilltoppers. I thought that was going to drop in the back of the net, but nobody was there to get the joy off of that redirect.
We'll see Liachu take one back on the air dribble. They lose that one. Rudgy sets one up for Dark. They can't get the angle. They decide against it. Trizent left alone. Messick will clear that ball past everybody off the sidewall. Rudgy will a fantastic touch forward and a good pass into Dark, but unfortunately, one's going to be over. Rudgy denied. Trizent, last player back. They have 10 seconds to last. Silly Full on a breakaway. Can they take it? They will. Dunks it through and finishes the opportunity. North Mesquite in the lead with 9 seconds to go.
What an important touch there that came out of the back row for the Stallions, and Silly Full unerring in that last touch at midfield just gets a seeing-eye goal. That was beautiful work. 9 seconds to tie it up. They do have the time, but they've got to get on the ball.
Unfortunately, a touch like that is just going to burn off that clock. Good clock management, and it will work to perfection. North Mesquite fell behind early, but they come back with a vengeance, taking game number 1 in our grand finals.
Yep, and I mean, the shots were definitely in favor of North Mesquite. I mean, they came out with 10 shots to 5 for Summit. So, you know, the pressure was there from Stallions, and Stallions has been showing this all throughout these playoffs. They will go for goal. Any chance they get a sniff at it, they're going goal bound. I got to tell you, Liachu came out the gate pretty strong. So we will see if Summit Hilltoppers can get themselves back into this grand final. Once again, it is a best of 7. So first to 4, whoever gets 4 games is going to take our national championship here. It was back and forth. I think this is the way that all of our games are going to go. It's going to come down to 1 goal. And it's going to come down to who can finish off in the most stressful times. Right now, Stallions have answered that question. Now let's see if Summit can do it.
Yeah, and technically Summit did end a little bit before the North Mesquite game did, but I can't really say a lack of warm-up is responsible. Summit through the midfield down the stretch had a couple chances where they threw themselves at it. They didn't get contact. They had to rotate out. They were going up on attack. They have a chance to get hit and they backflip or they decide to bail. You can't really allow those opportunities. You have to take everything, keep the ball moving, get pressure, get bumps on the exit, get boost. And that's something that Summit was working to fantastic successes against prior teams, especially Pennsauken in that semifinal. I want to see them implement that against North Mesquite, because right now North Mesquite, they fell behind, but immediately put their really noses down and went to work. The Batmobile coming out for Liachu. The only change here on the side, as hopefully they're looking to change absolutely nothing about their game plan, getting game 1 victory, and now we'll see if Summit has anything to say here in game number 2.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. That's a great shot on goal right out the gate. Reggie there in the right place at the right time. Nice little tap in there from Liachu, but no joy there.
Dark on the follow on the redirect. Reggie will keep it interesting, though they will get demoed by Liachu. So Silly Full advancing it down. Dark cuts that out. Tries and set up for a clear. Got a high lob. Messick is equal to it. Actually hesitates a little bit on that touch. Silly Full will bail him out, and combined with Liachu, 3-person passing play out of defense, really speaking to the coordination required between all of these players. Really no wasted balls. All about how well you can keep that consistency up. Reggie will be forced into another clear out into midfield, and starting to see some passing coming out from North Mesquite. Will only yield a deflection. Silly Full, another tap into the corner. That bites the last defender, tries in last back, and they cannot reach it. Liachu gets the opener for North Mesquite.
Yeah, that's an upper 90 shot that just had eyes for the back of the net. And I tell you what, great placement there. I thought Trizent might have been able to rotate the car around and at least get a deflection off it. But that was a nice screamer from Liachu. Nice follow and rotation on the backside There is the what a save spam we have talked about, and a lot of teams have talked about in these championships. So let's see if the Moxie is going to be rewarded. Sillyful is not going to be denied, just absolutely stuffs it in the back of the net. That was massive work coming out of Sillyful. Just got ahead of steam and said, nay, Tryson, it's going in.
And that's a great job by Sillyful to be able to tap that. And that is really a mental decision. You have a flick going, but you know that that's exactly what the defender is thinking. Sometimes the best play on that is fake high and then just 50 low. Put your nose down and hope for the best. Exactly what did happen. Fantastic play by Sillyful. And that's a player that has popped up time and time again for the Stallions. So not a surprise that they're able to bust that one out and maybe get yet another one. But Rudgy on the goal line gets a nice save. Liachu on the follow, and that's going to tuck their way through two defenders. North Mesquite, once they start snowballing, they are a force to be reckoned with.
They really are. And I mean, I think they may have been out of boost there, or maybe a lack of communication. Who was actually going to take that? And yeah, I mean, Dart came across the mouth of goal, and I think Tryson thought he was going to get the touch on it, but that is 3-0 in less than a minute and a half here into our second game of this grand finals. And yeah, as you said, the snowball can be very real once Stallions feel like they are on top. They are a very hard team to cool down.
So now it's all about trying to apply that cooling agent in the form of at least some response goals or some consistent defense. They're going for some demos as Tryson will send one player away. So Sillyful will burn all that time back off to let them back in the rotation with a good air dribble. Liachu on target, Dark to the corner. Rudgy will try to collect the boost, but ultimately just gets demoed. Dark will tap into the midfield, but Tryson's gonna have to chase that one all the way down. And Sillyful and company, they're very comfortable right now, is what we were applauding Summit in the past semifinal for. Just locking down that midfield is exactly what North Mesquite is doing. It's so difficult for Summit High School to really advance this ball forward. And now that they do, they have to take advantage of it. But unfortunately, just a couple deflections are just going to hold the ball in place. Maybe Rudgy doing something with this. It's over the top, it's off the bar and deflected to the side. Dark will collect, but the best chance of the game goes a foul.
Yep, I mean, this is better, though, coming out from the Hilltoppers. They're getting these backboard caroms kind of working into their favor. They've just got to get their rotation offensively set up. That's a great demo coming out of Tryson. Dark gets the goal and a screamer to boot, almost 60 miles an hour. Look at the following trailing on this play and the marking and just the gentle little flick. Finds joy in the back. It's a 2-goal game.
It's a fantastic decision there from Dark, understanding that you are coming at a tough angle. You have to wrap around that shot and get it on target, but then understands that that's all they have to do. Really, the goalkeeper is completely helpless. They're just flailing a net. Just put it on target, and it will do the rest for them. So it's that goal back, and it's at least one in there, but they only have 2 minutes to get two more just to at least try to force an overtime. What a tall order, especially when demos are coming out like that from Messick. Dark, though, knocks that over one. Sillyful, they're gonna have to get back on this one. They will, but Tryson is there. Deflection off the near post. Tryson has set themselves up in previous matches, not on this one. Another clear out, and Rudgy will just toss that one forward. Dark actually has a little bit of a gap, but Sillyful closes it so well. And the defense holding for North Mesquite, and the demos helping out as well. Still gonna play on. 90 seconds remaining, and still a 2-goal lead for the Stallions.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting more physical. It's getting a lot more crisp with the passing from the Hilltoppers as well. So I think that they've figured out a little something here. They just got to avoid these demos as best they can, because these demos are coming through fast and furious for the Stallions, and it's just starting to really disrupt the offensive pressure coming from the Hilltoppers.
See a bit of deflection as Dark will take that one down, taps it into the sideline. Messick is there. A little bit of flail in the recovery, though, so Rudgy will close the gap. Tryson and Dark will transition over, trying to get a pass. Straight down, onto the near post. A good pass out by Tryson, but it's only to Rudgy. Good deflection from Liachu. It's still in the danger area. Dark wraps around, but that's not going to be sufficient power. And now in the long clear, Liachu, no deflection in. Some will breathe a sigh of relief and remain a 2-goal game. And they're getting closer, but the offense just doesn't quite have that finishing touch.
Oh, man, what an important touch there on the aerial. Challenging Sillyful. They were looking to get an air dribble and a dunk down. So, I mean, 30 seconds left. They need to get a goal in a hurry.
See if Tryson can do anything with this one. Liachu tries to get it clear, ultimately just to the ceiling. Pass down from Sillyful. Liachu, no touch on the first. On the second, gets a good pass into Silly. Back across, Messick. Only get 50. Ball in the mid, Rudgy. No pass attempt. Maybe Dark called that one off. Either way, onto attack they go, but a cut out again, and really North Mesquite, they will be taking no guff. They're going to be putting away this game as the final seconds tick off of game number 2. Game number 1, very close comeback, but at this point, it's really been top to bottom North Mesquite's game, and they're going to advance on with their second series win.
Yep, this is halfway towards the national championship here for the Stallions. So, I mean, this is really a make it or break it moment for the Hilltoppers. They don't want to go down 3-0 in this grand final. So, Hilltoppers, got to get more physical. I'm liking the small touches. You hit on it in the middle of that game. Dark with these little soft touches. I think that can really pull the resources out of the Stallions and looking for, one of the teammates making a break towards the back post. I think that if they work this switch as well, switching the field can absolutely change the dynamic of an offensive push. Go opposite, because you can see the players from Stallions swarming any side that the Hilltoppers are on. If you get that quick switch, that diagonal flip over to the other side, you can maybe find an aerial Rudgy coming through, or maybe, a screamer from Trizen on the ground. Just changing the eye level right now, you started kind of seeing bits and pieces of that towards like the 2-minute mark when they got their goal and they started pressing back into this. So it's not losable right now, but it's got to be a lot more winnable. You got to get a lot more concise and precise with your touches.
And these giveaways in the backfield and just the inability to get that final touch on offense are certainly hurting Summit. But I would not say these games are incredibly one-sided. I think they start out that way for North Mesquite, and then Summit slowly tries to figure things out. I want them to get going from the get-go. So we will see if that is the case in game number 3, trying to get their first series win, and that's at least one way to do with a long ball. Lichu called into action. Rudgy on a tap. It's an open net facility full. Can't get the clear. Trying to go off of the backboard, and unfortunately an own goal is going to get Summit on the board.
I mean, it's the pressure, though. I mean, the pressure was there. So, unfortunate touch there out of Messick on the high ground. But, I mean, throwing the ball towards the goal mouth, sometimes that's you some really solid results.
So we'll see if this is going to be a repeating pattern. It appears it will. Dark getting number 2 for his side. 2 goals within 17 seconds. I mean, we did advise them to pick it up a little bit. I just didn't think it'd be like this, Chef.
No, but I mean, I'm loving it. And this is what we were expecting to see, was back and forth action. We were expecting to see the best of the best, and that's what we're getting. But now, we're in this kind of weird spot where the aggression just completely has turned around. And I mean, sometimes you just lose your confidence. And that's a great dunk coming out of Trice, and the high ball from Dark off the backboard there. That was just absolutely chef's kiss beautiful.
And Dark is going to get rewarded with that. To be honest, I think it's well-deserved. Such an intelligent play. They're coming in, they understand that they're a little too low. They're going to rocket that shot over. So instead what they do, they lean back. It's a gentle lob off the backboard, and it sets up Trizen beautifully. We saw North Mesquite leap out to quite the lead, and now it's Summit's time. They took some break in between that last match. They did not ready up immediately. They wanted to talk it over, and apparently that talk is paying some dividends. They're on a roll here, and we're not even out of the first minute.
I mean, this is just a wonderful clapback, a wonderful response to the super aggression that came out in those first 2 games. Ball dangerously in front of the goal. There's a demo right in front of the goal as well. They're going to be in a little bit of a power play for a couple of seconds, but I'm looking for Trizen and company to get this ball out of the backfield.
And we'll see if Trizen and company will be able to get that ball out. They'll get a partial deflection, and Messick, no touch, will result in Dark setting up a dribble. It's a little bit of a bump, but the clear will do its job. That's up for Rudgy. That's a great shot, and it's a good demo, but it's going to be hit off by the 4th man, that crossbar. Lichu on the counterattack. Great placement and a great pass, and that's at least 1 back for the Stallions.
That's a worm burner and a beaut. I love these low shots towards the far post. Well, actually, that's a near post shot for Lichu, but still, that's just a screamer. Almost 80 miles an hour. There's not much you can do about that. So passing play starting to come through for Stallions. Against the run of play here, we're a minute and a half in, and it's already 4 goals on the trot.
We'll see if Summit will be able to build on this, or at least hold on to their lead. I know in game 1, that was something that, and a little bit amiss for them. So I have to think that's going to be weighing on them, but at least for right here, Silly Full. I don't know what deity they prayed to, but they're thanking him right now. That one somehow glances across the goal, has a player crashing, and they get away with that one. Scoreline remains 3-1. Oh, my goodness, that was close. Summit High School, if not for a couple pixels, restores their 3-goal lead. They're going to have to keep searching here with another roller, but Mesquite will be able to hold on, approaching halftime, still that 2-goal lead, but really never want to count the Stallions out. They can march on down at any point as Lichu in a shot that will get turned away by Rudgy.
Yeah, I mean, these small little touches here at the corner is what I'm really getting impressed with by the Hilltoppers. Shot on goal, what a save from Reggie! That was looking at, it was in the back of the net. I almost squealed in joy and appreciation of that goal. And man, Reggie, the man of the match right now. You know, he's an all-star as well, showing their prowess on the field. This is beautiful work. Goal bound!
That's just absolutely beautiful. Understanding every single pass, every shot that is dangerous is the middle of the field. Lichu knows that, stays in the sideline. So what do? They pass it to the upfield player who's in the improbable outside position, draws a challenge, and then it's just a tap into an open net. That is textbook by Summit, and this is the first time I really have seen them play like they were in the semis, and really the way that we expect them to, that confident, controlled style, and it's paying off really well. 4 goals, and we're barely past halftime. At this point, I'm looking to the defense. North Mesquite is not a team to be shut up like this. Really all about, can you keep them at bay, get your first series win, and use this momentum to really traverse the rest of the series. I guess that's really a story waiting to be written. No scripts here in the high school national championships. We'll see Dark tap a slight one back and we'll get the clear back. So nice to see they are committing to that soft possession play and a deflection here to Rudgy. That forward, Lichu, a little bit of deflection, tries and will keep it in the corner, but no one in the middle. That'll free things up as everyone will regather themselves, and on the counter, Silly will set up a double, but no touch, and we'll go back out to mid.
Oh man, Dark is really starting to impress me with these soft touches and smart rotations, and just the contorting of the vehicle that they can get around. I'm telling you what, they are really skilled in these finesse touches.
Got to make sure they're not getting overconfident, but Dark just as competent on defense as well. Last player back and dunks that out. Rudgy, a little bit of deflection. That's going to glance wide. Lichu on the follow. High hit, but it's going to go well across. Silly Foal just try to extend the play, and they do it well, but no third man. Dark will tap that one out again. The back pass, a little bit errant, but they'll keep it interesting. Silly Foal denied again by Dark. Dark is just absolutely everywhere on the pitch here in game number 3.
Oh my goodness, and I like I said, I mentioned it, he is getting a lot of value, and Dark might be the player of this game. Once again, cutting out a clear shot opportunity and getting the save to boot.
Olivo out just sitting on the Summit half. Dark will get some boost, tap forward, but they will get bumped. Gonna go well over the bar though. Tries in, no touch. They will be able to follow it at least fairly well. Dunk into Messick, and at this point it's all about clock management, but it's not really much to manage. 10 seconds remaining, 3 goals. Summit High School, they've come back with a vengeance. I want them to be able to close this game out and really this game 3 to bed with a lot of force, and they do. Summit High School right back in it, and they've shrunk that lead Mesquite has in the series, but this is just one game at a time. This is a good start.
Yeah, this is a great start for them to start the comeback. And now, you know, it's a 1-game series. That's pretty dominant work out of Summit. And, you know, we've talked to both these teams quite a bit over the past couple of days throughout the round robins, throughout the All-Star games, throughout the quarterfinals and semifinals. And I tell you what, that little bit of a non-getting into the lobby, give themselves a chance to talk amongst each other, I think really paid dividends for them. And now we've got an entire series on our hands. My goodness, this is starting to turn out to be one of those epic matches that's going to go the distance.
Yeah, and this is very much one of those aspects where anger can be a very, in a way, like motivational emotion. And so when you start losing games, you start getting tilted, it gets into a scenario where you really have to get in the next game. You ready up and you're like, no, it's fine, we'll shake it off. But I actually really like the decision coming through from Summit, just taking that breather, gathering themselves, and it works fantastically because the main issue I was having with a lot of what Summit was doing as we're temporarily just shuffling these players, making sure the connections are all good for the rest of the series, is that they did take their time, and then it showed on the pitch. They were more confident on their touches. They were working the backboard. They weren't overcommitting. They were getting passes. They were getting the nice dunks and challenges, and the transitions were all super clean. It's exactly what I wanted out of Summit, and I think they got away from themselves in the first 2 games, but it's a great return to form, and now North Mesquite's the one, a little bit on the back pedal. They're the ones that are going to have to adapt, and this is what great series are really always made of. Both teams always improvising, always playing mercurially, and it's all on the other team to really step up and deal a counter blow.
I mean, very nice Shakespeare reference there. I love that. The Mercutio reference. I love that. We did see a tale of 2 teams, though. I mean, Summit looked a little bit apprehensive coming out the gate, and in the first 2 games. And now, in game number 3, this is the Summit that we know. It's all about the small touches, especially Dark working out of the backfield. We called their name multiple times because of, not only the small little touches and flicks, but also being in the right place at the right time, being that last bastion of defense and getting some just beautiful saves. I mean, as a goalkeeper, it warms my heart to see such good placement and positioning and being able to get there. So, looking at what they're doing, I mean, it's going according to plan now for Summit.
Yeah, and the one thing that I would like to see them do is, I think this is really we're not halfway through. We're not quite through game 4. This is the game 4 that we're trying to ready up for. I think this is really a turning point for the series, potentially for Summit. This is where they have shown that they can hang in this game, and more importantly, they can succeed in this atmosphere. But they have to do it again, and then again and again. And I think sometimes in series, you get a win like this, and then you're saying, oh, everything's fine, and you somewhat mentally reset to game 1. I think they need to keep that in mind. They need to understand they are behind. It can so easily go the other way the very next game, because both teams adapt after every game. And I want to see Summit remain mentally strong, not give up any freebies, because certainly that was what was happening earlier in the series. Stallions do not need any help. They are offensively strong. They've always been a powerhouse throughout this entire bracket, throughout a lot of regionals. So if you can mitigate those mistakes and play the way they were playing, I think they have a really good shot of hanging in this series. But North Mesquite, I don't count them out. Leechu, if not for a couple missed double taps in some of those games, actually, that could have been a very different scoreline there in game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just the recognition of maybe their defensive rotations weren't as clean as what we have seen and come to expect of Summit. So we will see if they can continue this positive momentum forward. I think you're absolutely right hitting it on the fact that they need to keep this, okay, we're behind mentality. Sometimes that's what we did, playing soccer growing up. We'd go down a couple of goals and it's like, okay, we're losing. We need to get back in this, and we would get back level. And it's like, okay, I remember being the captain, bringing my team and say, we're still losing. We still have to play like we're losing and just keep the aggression up. And I think if they keep the aggression up, especially with Dark working out of the defensive third, setting up Reggie and Trizen, I think they have a really good shot of this. Sillyfold kind of got shut out of game number 3 too. They were really looking to demo onto them. So Sillyfold needs to reinsert themselves back into this game.
We'll see if that storyline comes to fruition. We're going to be getting back into the action. Everyone is rejoined and ready to go. And I do like how Dark has really emerged as really a back and forth, really integral part of this team, both on offense and defense. We'll have to see if anyone else will step up or if Dark will continue their productivity. So we'll see. Nice little kickoff here. And Summit locked a little bit in their half, so Reggie will have to regather. Tap in the middle for Dark on the transition. Nice tap forward. It makes Messick kind of second guess that read, but they're not going to second guess this one. Full confidence in that challenge. Sillyfold, the 50th, the sitter in front of Napa. Trizen, the tap to the sideline. Reggie into the corner. Dark lurking in the middle for a pass. We'll wait for a little bit more because Trizen find it off the corner. Another tap forward. Dark will gather, but not the roll they're looking for, and another clear out to the far side. Trizen will hold that in place, and a nice, cute little touch, and the type of confidence, the possession play I love to see out of Summit. Fortunately, will come to an end. Another transition out in a very back and forth first minute.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that was an important touch coming through. Looking for the tap in front. There it is, Liachu, the silent assassin, once again. That was a beautiful play, just trailing the play so nicely. Tries it, just probably didn't have the boost to get up and get a good deflection off of it. And there is the cleanup in front of the goal. That's 1-0 to Stallions. Now let's see what the response is going to be back from the Hilltoppers.
And it's tough because they were going so well into defense, and then the ball deflects just a bit awkwardly. And now all the demos all over the place are just opening up Messick for an open flick from coast to coast there. We saw Lichu scream across, or Silly Foal rather, scream across, get some demos, and it's what we're talking about. North Mesquite, they're starting to snowball. This is definitely, I'm sure, bringing back some scary memories from Summit from earlier in the series.
Oh, man. I mean, the physicality has just gone through the roof for the Stallions. They are not a happy team right now. It's Angie Foal right now, not Silly Foal. There's a third shot on goal. There's a third goal going in. Silly Foal is Angie Foal right now. Full aggression mode for the Stallions, and they get the joy out of this screamer. Upper 90. Beautiful work.
You can almost see the anxiety at play. That high lob, Reggie, instead of getting back and making sure to try to play the air dribble, they just immediately turned, realized they didn't have the play, and then just bailed, and that took them completely out of the play. Last defender was pretty much abandoned on that one. 3-0 for North Mesquite. Where have we seen this story before? Like game 2, coming to rear its head again as I guess we're airing a rerun in a way, but in a way, at the same time, North Mesquite is getting some unique goals here. They're just forcing mistakes, and Summit just doesn't really have the answer. It might get even worse before it gets better. Cross map clear from Messick. Second goal for them, fourth for North Mesquite within the first 2 minutes.
Up the backboard, 71 mile an hour screamer into the lower 90. That is a singularly beautiful goal. It had nothing but eyes for the back of the net.
Not even a bounce either. Just the sheer power on that to get all the way from one backboard to another. Now at this point, it has to be just clock management. But technically, I mean, if you can score 4 and half over less than half the game, then if more than half, certainly Summit can try and get back. Tall order for sure. That's really what they're going to have to hope for, unless they want to fall to match point. Ichu and company not looking too generous, though. They will give up a 50 here. Dark off the sidewall, tries and will wait just a little bit. Silly Foal will tap in the middle for Rudgy, and no touch is not enough boost on this one, so Lichu and Silly Foal off the corner, trying to get one more, only holding up in place, and tries and will get another clear out. So Summit looking a little bit disheveled here on their movement around, but I really can't blame them. I don't think they anticipated this amount of pressure to come out, at least now. We gifted one off the backboard miss, and they're at least somewhat back in it.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes one goal to get the blood flowing once again and give a heartbeat to this Hilltoppers team that looked like they were DOA coming into match number 4.
So we'll see 2 minutes, 16 seconds. Really, the grains left in the hourglass before game 4 comes to a close. With Mesquite is cruising, and this has really been just momentum-based series, it feels. Once one team really feels themselves, it's really just a cruising through. We've seen a close game in game number 1, but really since then, it's kind of just been one team taking the reins and not wanting to give them up. Very interesting back and forth series we're seeing. At this point, it is favoring North Mesquite, but to be honest, we had predictions going in, but it's just so hard to really understand what's going to be going on, especially when a team is feeling themselves like that. North Mesquite committed all 3 players to that last attack. It doesn't work out, but can't really blame them for feeling so confident.
No, I mean, confidence breeds confidence, and what a shot! What a save from Messick, getting back at the last possible moment. That ball looked like it was sailing into the back of that nice little floater up high. This could prove a little bit troublesome for the Stallions.
Yeah, they're going to have to deal with that, but they deal with it well. They understand much in the way that Dark was last game. They don't have to hit everything forward. They can just tap it to the sideline, take a 50, and they're doing that very well. Well, Rudgy's going to have to get all the way back on this one, and unfortunately, he can't be getting Messick opportunities like that. They've given him 2 already, technically. 3 goals off 5 shots. Fantastic efficiency, but really, top to bottom, North Mesquite's finishing has been insane this whole match. 8 shots, and they finished off 5 of them.
Yeah, that's a great completion percentage. So what we're looking for right now, I think you just got to score a goal here. Make sure that you're feeling it going into game number 5, because you're going to be sitting and facing match point if you are the Hilltoppers.
I think almost like that lack of focus in between goals is hurting them so much. Is we've seen both, really the Stallions and the Hilltoppers both be susceptible to giving up a goal and then immediately off the restart just giving up a second one and then giving up a third. You have to make sure that slippery slope is slowed down. Otherwise, this is just going to keep on happening because we're seeing some fakes out from Silly Full. Just embarrassing the offense. Dark will finally put an end to it, but really just shows that the North Mesquite, they do not feel too threatened this game. They're wanting to close this one out, and they're going to have some fun while doing so.
Yep. I mean, just a goal here. I think a goal is what is needed here for the Hilltoppers to regain some kind of momentum going into game number 5. Reggie just going to go ahead and try and lob it up.
Orange lane deflection on the goal line, so we will see Lichu go back down. So even if they are playful, they're all business when it matters. That open shot will be deflected. Dark gonna get one more to the back post. Unfortunately, that's a miss. Rudgy off the corner. Trizen trying to keep it alive. Only a deflection, and North Mesquite all business in game number 4, 5-1, and they're 1 win away from taking it all.
I mean, that was just dominant. I mean, you started out with the double demo right out the gate and actually turned into a triple demo. Nobody was on the field for Hilltoppers, and Stallions sent a statement with that coming right out the gate, and they were never able to get the focus and the motivation once again after that extremely physical start. They just got punched in the mouth, and I don't think that Hilltoppers were able to get back up off the field.
And at this point, there is 2 storylines. One, there is North Mesquite on match point. Next one takes it. And the second one, do we see Lichu go to the Scarab? Is the confidence that high? We'll have to see as everyone joins the field. And there it is. Lichu has indeed switched to the Scarab. We knew how that worked out last time when they faced the Hilltoppers. We'll see if Destiny has a sense of humor, and it seems like it does. Rudgy with the opener, 4 seconds in.
Tempt the gods, and they will reward you. Negatively, positively, that remains to be seen. And right out the gate, I think that this is, oh boy, at least it's not the entirety. We're not going to get the repeat of the Scarab incident. Rudgy is not having any of this.
Absolutely not. They don't want to take that disrespect, and they've woken up. They're here to play game number 5 because they absolutely have to, but those North Mesquite, Silly Full, setting up a redirect for themselves of the backboard. The double tap doesn't go. Messick on the follow, the back post. Trizen takes no chances. Another clear out into mid for Silly Full. They will get absolutely clobbered out of that air dribble. Trizen will tap that one down. This communication in the midfield. Rudgy, field across. Trizen will not go. They just need the boost instead. So Silly Full trying to play possession, actually taps it into a Summit player, but does well to get the follow-up. Could have been a double commit in the corner. We'll see a high lob off the Summit backboard. Messick is there. Rudgy will tap down. 1 goal lead, still all there is in it within the first minute here. However, North Mesquite trying to knock on the door with this attack.
Oh, that's a great setup. Messick in front. Nice save from Rudgy. And now the counterattack is on in earnest.
Full deals with it very well, and they will be able to throw that one downfield. Rudgy Company are going to have to make sure they don't get caught out on any of these 50s, but North Mesquite going to have to make sure they don't get caught out on this. That's 2 misses. Messick is required just to slow the play down. Ryzen has no such intentions. We'll put that right to the corner, unfortunately. Dark not there. Now Rudgy on defense. We'll put into the corner. Silly Full. Tap down to Messick. Good shot, but not enough power. Dealt well. And Lichu with a pinch will keep things interesting, but not necessarily useful. Ball will be cleared all the way out. Now Trizen, 1 more hit, open net, and they will bury it. Trizen, you can't hit it much sweeter than that.
What a touch coming out of Trizen from the midfield, and just the beauty of that shot. Love it. 2 goal lead for Hilltoppers. They are not having any of this Scarab nonsense.
And it really just something about that wakes up that primal aggression within them, and it's working to great success. They have to hold this lead. I'm a bit scared that this is going to be, if they do end up taking this win, I don't necessarily think they will become complacent, but you have to make sure you keep that foot on the gas pedal. It could just be a matter of momentum that they're flowing off, but you have to find a way to keep it consistent. Hook up an IV or something of liquid confidence. I want to see Summit take this to game 7, and at least the way they're playing right now, it seems like a possibility. Good save, Rudgy crash in the net. It's still dangerous. Dark will turn back for it, though. We'll ultimately leave the task to Trizen. We'll get a 50, but Silly Full will be able to musty that clear all the way out, and the one sent back by Rudgy. So right at halftime, still that 2 goal lead for Summit as they look to extend.
Oh, such a dangerous lead right now for the Hilltoppers. And here comes the goal with the Scarab. Oh, that's adding insult to injury there. Beautiful work out of Liachu. Gets just the nice touch there. Knows that they don't have to really do much other than send it goal bound. 62 miles an hour on that goal. We are at a 1-goal lead now. Stallions might be feeling the rotations coming through for them defensively and starting to set them up offensively.
And then now it's right off the kickoff. Just like that, series could turn on its head. We have an equalizer within 4 seconds of the restart.
I mean, just there was nothing they could do about that. The kickoff clearly in favor of the Stallions. Rudgy just wasn't able to get back. Liachu had a beautiful touch off the high background, and they get joy out of that goal. Equalizer in the net.
There's a reason I said if Summit can hold this lead, 2-goal lead is a dangerous lead because it can be so easily toppled if the other team gets their plays together. And right now it looks like not only they got it together, they're flowing a bit. Messick, they're going to keep advancing and it's going to roll all the way across. Rudgy's in goal. They're coming out to try to aggress. Liachu with a flick to the back post. It's just going to go wide. Rudgy will tap it over them. Now Trizin advancing it down. The fast break. Silly Full is last back. Dark is on the back post. It will not be found. Rudgy. Open shot or open pass. They'll opt for the shot. Messick, a great save. And Silly Full and Liachu both committing to this ball in the sidewall. So both teams living risky on defense. This is going to be quite the ending. However, it does end to game number 4 as a long ball goes down. And either team can take this one at this rate.
Oh my gosh, and the touches that are coming out from both these teams right now are just absolutely exquisite. We are getting the high level of Rocket League that we expected from this grand final. Shot on goal from Transit. Liachu with a beautiful positioning and save there. Now the counterattack is on in earnest.
We'll see Rudgy hit a 50. Liachu sets up a double tap. Doesn't finish that one. So consistent previously. Unfortunately, not going to get the payoff on this one. Under a minute to go. Dark to the sideline. Messick taps that one across. Doesn't get the pass. Trizin out to the sideline. Looks for the pass, but it will set up for Dark. Long clear, open net. Can Trizin get the redirect? They can't touch it. Dark on the follow. What a save from Liachu. We're going to keep on playing. The golden opportunity will not be answered, but they're going to get one right back anyway. And to be honest, Chef, that is karmic. What a play by Summit, and they're up again.
Yep, and I mean, the spam did not come through on that one as far as the in-game chat. My goodness, did they weather a storm there, and now they get the goal, the go-ahead goal there. That is beautiful work out of Hilltoppers. They're feeling it. They're in their defensive rotations. That's a great kickoff. Oh, man, this could end up very well for the Hilltoppers.
It's 30 seconds to hold a lead and make sure defense holds. Rudgy, that's not the touch you want. Messick right at the close as the equalizer.
Oh my word. Rudgy just did not get enough on this ball. Oh, he rotated the chassis. Oh my goodness. If you hit that hard in the corner, you deny the space, you deny the time and the shot on goal. 22 seconds, we might be heading to overtime.
A low boost, a lot of panic. Very unfortunate to see, though. But you can't play hero on this. How about Dark? They're fueled up. They'll go for an air dribble. It's only going to go to the corner. Liachu looks past one, but gets bumped. Dark will try to slow down, but Messick looking to play hero. They have Silly Full in the middle, but they will not be found. Trizin will just tap that one out to the midfield. Can they get a flick? It's on target. Messick, great save. Does Rudgy try to play one more? They will not. They don't want to take any chances. They'll have to take their chances instead in overtime. One more win. And Mesquite, they have won this national championship.
Oh, now it's all to play for. It's all to play for. That's a shot on goal. That's a stuff. Oh, off the crossbar. That is not what you want to see if you are the Stallions. They had that goal written in stone. Nice shot coming in. Whoa, what a save from Messick. Back and forth action here in our overtime. Not even 20 seconds in.
How many times has Messick come up so huge for the Stallions? These goal line saves just keep on churning out. Now it's on Summit. On defense, Ruggy, great 50 there. Messick has to get this clear and will. Dark at the midfield will hold it up. Bit of a double commit, but Silly ultimately gets the touch. Trizin taps it down. It's a 50. It's near the goal. Silly Full will bury it, and that is the championship, the national win for the Stallions.
Oh my God! How did they do this time and time again? just the beautiful presence of mind to get the ball off of the backboard and the just dagger in the heart of the Hilltoppers. Great season from both teams, but Stallions do come out your 4-1 winner here in the National Championship Grand Finals. My predictions were completely blown out of the water, and North Mesquite, the number 1 seed coming into these playoffs, into these national championships, have shown their pedigree. They take the 4-1 win and the national championship.
And somewhat interestingly, Summit in the interview, granted, there's not much you can say about are you going to win or not, and you're going to say, no, we're going to lose. But 4-1 was the prediction coming out from Reggie. Unfortunately, North Mesquite taking this one, and just, I mean, fantastic play from North Mesquite, because not only did we see them get wins in a rough and tough tumble manner by eking out games, but they also had these blowouts. They were able to adapt constantly. They get the wins. Fantastic job from them, and I'm sure they'll have plenty to say about that one. They're going to close it out. Well-deserved, a fantastic bracket run, and in a very well-earned trophy to take home and brag to the folks about. So we'll be throwing you guys to a short break, but we'll be right back with, I'm sure, the man himself, Liachio. I'm sure they have plenty to say about that grand final performance here after our emphatic final here for the 2021 EGF High School National Championships. Welcome back, everybody, to the 2021 EGF High School National Championship in collaboration with Walt Disney World and ESPN Wide World of Sports. We are done. We have gone through that entire bracket, and only one team remained above the others. It is the North Mesquite Stallions. We're sitting down with one of the leading men of that roster, Liachu. Liachu, how you feeling? It's been a very long week, but I'm sure that feeling very nice right now, sitting where you are.
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing, honestly. Absolutely decimating a team in the finals feels great. Especially people that have beat you before and you can beat them. Just beating someone that has beat you before is just the best feeling, and especially these guys. These guys, honestly, they're good, but today they were freer than a gas station restroom. They were freer than a Costco sample. They were just free. Their win was just free.
I love the confidence, but I got to tell you, they took you to your brink at some points there. It wasn't, necessarily a complete blowout. They did make you work for it. I tell you, the rotations that you guys had going on were, when you guys decided to gas up your aggression, they didn't have an answer for it. Was that a determined set to get that triple demo out in game number 2?
That, and I thought it was hilarious, honestly. We got a goal out of it, which was really nice. The triple wasn't planned, but I think one demo was planned, and then they just happened to line up, and we got the goal out of it because they were just all lined up. Collateral damage.
Yeah, and I'm curious to pick your brain about really the situation where I think what makes a lot of national championship games really speak to the multiple levels of esport, where you have to, of course, perform mechanically, get your double taps, get all the skillful plays out. But you also have to focus up, because not only were we seeing a very close game off the bat, but then we had several games after that where it was very back and forth, or huge leads would open up, and you guys time and time again would shrink them back down. What are you guys telling each other in those moments where you start to fall down by 2 goals, by 3 goals at some point, to really get yourself back into those games and not really just completely fall off of the wayside?
We usually say, let's just get one back. These guys should be pretty easy to score against. I mean, we've scored against them a lot before, and I don't think scoring against them again should be really hard because of how non-defensive this team can be at sometimes. We were just taking those opportunities. Yeah. We never really got down at all, ever, in the entire series.
I saw you spamming the in chat. What a save! What a save! You're trying to get into their heads. So you brought out the Scarab when you guys were on match point, and it looked like Hilltoppers just was absolutely incensed by that. You said in previous interviews that is a predetermined thing that you're going to do. The rest of the team didn't follow you this time. Did you guys want to try and avoid that triple Scarab incident once again?
They wanted to avoid it. I go Scarab because I wanted to beat this team in a car that was infamous for the Scarab incident. I wanted them to know that they got beat by a Scarab. That's what I wanted them to know, and I definitely showed them that.
It's great to see that you're sticking to your guns, because if anything, brand consistency always so important on streams like this. So being able to, because we were asking as that next game came in, we're like, okay, it's match point. I have to think it's gonna come out, because sometimes we've seen you bust out a Scarab and then maybe drop a game and you'll switch back to a regular car, but even though you stuck to your guns, you went to it even with all that's on the line, and it's good to see you guys deliver on that, and particularly be able to just hang in there. I was shocked by the amount of times that you guys were, of course, between games and during games, being able to come back from stuff. But the amount of goal line saves you guys had, I was ramping up into calling the goal. You guys would save it across. Silly Full and you and Messick all playing spectacular goal line defense. And it's really something that, based on the speed and comms, I'm always so impressed by. How often do you guys play leading up to this, or are you guys really just flowing off that confidence and keeping it meme light and chatter? Is the communication really hardcore and sweaty, or are you guys just trying to have a good time and keep the confidence high so you guys can flow into your challenges?
Usually the beginnings are a little bit more sweaty, but once we start to get in our flow, everything becomes a lot more memey. And you know, just gotta keep it chill. You don't want to go too sweaty, because then if you lose, you're gonna get really angry. But you don't want to be too chill, because then you'll be off your guard. So we want to keep that like middle ground vibe. You know, yeah. That's
Well, now that you guys have gotten the national championship, what's your plans for the rest of the summer? I mean, this was obviously the crowning achievement that you guys were going for. What's the rest of your summer look like, Liachu?
The rest of my summer looks like probably gonna, you know, take a break from Rocket League, honestly. I think taking a break, taking a step back would be good. You know, playing so much these past few months have been really, you know, tiring me out of the game. So I'm gonna take a little break. I might come back, who knows? And, you know, just do regular teenage things. Get a part-time job, work, play video games with friends. That's about it.
Well, it's good to hear. You definitely earned it. So congrats again on getting your national championship win. And I'm sure that Silly Full and Messick cheering you on in the chat. They always enjoy your interviews. And of course, so do all the fans out there. So congrats again. And before we let you go, and go enjoy your summer and do regular teenage things, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, of course. I have to shout out my grandpa. He's been my biggest supporter of esports ever since I started.
Aww.
He means the world to me, and I love him so much. So much. He's so dear to my heart.
Well, that's lovely to hear. Thank you again to Liachu for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank you.
With that said, unfortunately, Chef, that is going to do it for us. It's been a fantastic week full of ups and downs, some tragedy, and also comedy at times across Rocket League. That's going to close it out for us. But fortunately for all those people watching these 2021 EGF High School National Championships, this is not the end of our broadcast day.
No, it's not. We've got on the other stream right now on EGF Overwatch, we've got the Richardson Nuclear going up against the Gale Gamers out of All Hallows High School out of the Bronx. I got a chance to cast them earlier in the week during their round robin. And then coming up next here on official EGF, it's going to be the Crispy Celts going up against the Rockford Rangers in the second semifinal to see who's going to get into the grand final. Now, I'm going to be watching in chat on that one because I'm an Overwatch caster as well, and I really want to see if the Gale Gamers can get through their semifinal.
Well, the action will moving on, but the Rocket League action has come to a close once again. Just in summation, the North Mesquite Stallions are your EGF national champions here, taking it 4-1, very well deserved, and a great way to close out the Rocket League High School season. Please don't go anywhere. More EGF esports action here on the 2021 EGF High School National Championships, again in collaboration with Walt Disney World and ESPN Wild World of Sports. I'm Anita Taco. That's been Chef Billy. We got Juke on the production. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and stay tuned after this break.
Bye, guys. Love y'all.